Going on, guys? Trying to do a quick video here. Hopefully everything is in focus. This is about a year and a half after putting in a whole home filter. So in the order of coming into the house, this was the first filter here, and you can definitely tell it's caught a lot. This is only a sediment filter. So the darker one here was the first in line, second, and then what was just sitting in the canisters here is this here. So if you don't believe in extra water filters for your house, hopefully this changes your perspective. This is about a year after. I think each one of these are supposed to be for at least 10,000 gallons each. With one person running this, I just assumed that I would be decent. I may have to step it up to better filters, but this is the water that's coming in, and it was just sitting here. Of course, this is over a year and a half later, but it's still worth putting in. And this is only two of 5 filters that I have on the house. So I'm gonna pause the video and I'll go to the next one. I'm changing those as well, so we'll see what those look like. So the other filters here, I'm eventually going to change the position of this, build an actual utility cabinet or closet to house everything here, but getting ready to change these for the first time. Right, so we're back, and I wanted to try and capture each filter at each stage, as well as the water that came out of each, or the water that was getting to each one. So this is after the 2 sediment filters, the first 20-inch here. And this one is what it looks like. It still has some life left. You can tell just from the inside here, it's not as dirty as the outside. So how these work is the water comes through the filter, up, and through this channel here. So each one of these rings is filtering out different types of sediment. So I'll probably end up putting this one back. I'm gonna see if we can take a look at the bottom ring here. So actually I won't put this one back, but it clearly still has some life left on it. And again, water coming out of the filter there. This is the one that came from the first one. So you can tell the difference so far. It's getting rid of the larger particles. And we got 2 more to go. So a little science experiment is done. I have taken water from each one of the filters in the process, besides this one here. This was the second sediment filter. So these two here are the filters before it even comes into the house. The 20-inch extra sediment filter, I believe this one was the carbon block, and this one is the metal filter. So any kind of lead, stuff like that, supposed to get rid of it. And I put it on this little cutting board to try to give you a good look at how clear or unclear and dirty the water is relative to the background. So you can tell this is coming straight in from the street, hitting the sediment filters, these 2 here. Second, or actually third in line sediment filter, the larger 20-inch, which is still relatively decent. The carbon block here. So think about this process as the water coming in before it hits the filter, just sitting at the bottom of the canisters. This is the water. The water getting filtered from these 2 setting in this one is here. And then going on and on down the line. Of course, I missed one. I only have 4 here, so filtered from the second sediment, still kind of murky. And it may have actually came through. I took this out off the top here instead of at the bottom. So last one here, relatively clear. I may end up actually doing some, water test, just to see what is found in each stage of these here. So 3 main filters for inside of the house. And of course, I don't have the other ones out there. I replaced these already. I went with, 5 micron filters instead of these little pleats here. So hopefully it improves, and as the process goes, water keeps getting clearer. But I definitely will not be looking at tap water the same, especially after this here, getting water this bad, just coming into the house directly, you know. All right, back about an hour, maybe 40 minutes, maybe an hour later. And I noticed the water isn't as cloudy and dirty as it was, which kind of makes sense. You see everything settling at the bottom. So this was the first container from outside coming into the house. And you can clearly see a bunch of yuck, very nasty stuff. And of course, unclear water. These start to clear up a little bit, but you can still see everything at the bottom here. So it's just moving around. The water's settled. And the next one, this was, let's see, first 2 filters, sediment outside. This one was the second sediment. And this one was the carbon filter. I believe that's right. Yeah, carbon filter. So, this is before it gets to the carbon filter, I believe. It's just sitting at the bottom. And then coming out here, still a little yucky right before it hits the metal filter. I think it's a little bit more finer, parts per million. And this is after changing the filter completely. Very clear, clean water, nothing settling at the bottom. It's ran through 5 filters. Possibly drinkable, given the stages that it's been through, you know. I don't know how this has passed anything from the city. This is coming straight from the street. All right. And I forgot to add that this is what it looks like after the entire house's plumbing has been changed over to PEX. So a year or a year and a half later with PEX. So everything inside the house has been changed. The only thing that I can account for is from the front of the house to the street. All the piping for that.